Alright, welcome to another Flights with Joel. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks to all my viewers. I see I'm getting more. I'm slowly building. So thanks a lot for people who are viewing. Thanks even more. Thanks even more for people who are subscribing. Eventually that might matter, but not till I get a whole bunch more. So I am flying here in the Pacific Northwest in the great city of Portland that I live nearby. And I'm going to do some comparison stuff here, but first I wanted to read this quote from the latest update of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 because I thought this was hilarious. It says, "We would like to see rapids in the rivers with fly fisher people on the banks. There should be snakes on the banks, salmon leaping from the rapids. We need bears. We need bears catching the salmon. And it would be ideal if we could fish. Furthermore, we'd like an accurate climate change model with icebergs and Antarctic ice shelves breaking off from the mainland with polar bears and seals. And finally, if MSFS does not accurately model the sun's eventual evolution into a red giant, we question their long-term commitment to the sim." AvSim user. So whoever AvSim user wrote that, it's brilliant. And the fact that the Microsoft team put that up, I think is pretty awesome. I think it's, yeah, it shows a great sense of humor. So, while eagerly waiting, we're still trying out Prepar3D version 5. This is ORBX scenery, Pacific Northwest. I have not added any airports in here yet, and that's what I'm doing today, is I'm checking out what it looks like now compared to what it looks like in a few minutes when I add Pearson Field, which I'm headed for now. This bridge is one of the main features in Pearson Field, and the bridge they add in that scenery is awesome. Still having a lot of problems, still messing with my settings quite a bit, trying to get them right. I've had Prepar3D V5 just long enough to realize it is better than 4.5. I can't really recommend grabbing it because it still has all these issues that annoy the heck out of me. One of them being that the scenery builds constantly. And I have played with my settings ad nauseum and have not gotten that to work. I've seen other videos where the scenery building is not as bad, but I have a real problem with it. It does get better when I add in airports and things, but then other things pop up. So I'm just going to bring it in. I do have the experimental weather on. I think the stuff in the distance looks fantastic. I think the aircraft, even though they're old, this is a very old Cerav Bell 212, I think it still looks great. I really think it looks better than the previous version. Just going to take a good look at this airport before I install the airport. See, even without the scenery, it has the Pearson Field on the ground. They've already done some work on it. And just with Pacific Northwest, I think the clouds look fantastic. There's a lot of debate about that. I live up here, and this is what the clouds look like. You can play with these clouds all day long as far as settings. But I'm loving the way they look right now. Just gonna park over by that other helicopter. There's been a lot of conversation in the helicopter community about whiteout. Lockheed Martin said there was better whiteout with the helicopters, or brownout, and all I see is that that effect seems to be larger. I cannot get any kind of whiteout or brownout. I can see through it every time. So this is Pearson Field scenery from ORBX, and I had not saved the last flight, so I'm in a different helicopter. Same helicopter, different paint. And let's see, I think I turned everything on before I started recording. You have to finish the startup in this. You have to flick some switches. If anybody's really interested, I could show you that, but it's almost started when you jump in, and then you have to turn on the inverters and some more power to make sure. So this, I think, is amazing looking. If you look in the distance, you'll see the problems with P3d V5. Lots of strange artifacts happening. The trees down there have that weird glow around them. My next video is about a way to partially fix that. It doesn't totally fix it. The scenery still looks fantastic. It looks just as good in 4.5, so no reason to update for the scenery. I just wanted to fly around and take a better look at it. And my frame rates, you'll notice, are jumping all over the place. Today I have them locked. The water edges drives me nuts. See the edge of the water? And I thought that would go away when you turn off the effects. It really doesn't. If you're not a helicopter pilot and you don't fly low and slow, it just won't matter that much. Something I saw or read reminded me that simulators are really designed for taking off from airports and flying above 2,000 feet, 2,000 feet or above. That's where they were originally designed to work best, and they still work best from there. So that's what you got to keep in mind as you're flying close to the scenery and trying to pick it apart like I am. This bridge is one of the things I love about this scenery. Really nice detail. And these roads look great. Traffic, that all looks good. The train looks amazing. The fact that there is a train, I think, is cool. The back of the scenery in the distance seems far clearer to me. I kept 4.5 for a minute, and then I decided I don't know, I don't really need it. But I've been sort of fighting with this scenery to get it to do what I want it to do. I haven't been fighting enough with it that I'm going to forget about all the add-ons I bought and switch to X-Plane, but almost. Almost. I do fly X-Plane demo once in a while if I want a more realistic feel of a helicopter. This helicopter you actually do have to use a little pedal on, and yeah, it's not too bad. So now, a little look around the field here. Army Corps, that is a little museum they have here. Picnic tables. Thought there was people here, but it's the picnic tables closer to the other hangar where I started. Now I'm going to fly over Portland and see how much damage it does. See how that looks. So this is Portland with the free Portland add-on from ORBX, freeware. And there's some very cool features. Some very cool features, especially if you fly helicopters. That's Portland International over there. We're going to fly over that. The Pearson field scenery ends right about at the river on this side. See, but this is all still part of the Pearson field scenery. It is awesome. And when the weird artifacts stop on the water, you get the right angle, it looks beautiful. Traffic. There is an aircraft taking off. The traffic is also strangely absent in this sim. There's an aircraft. This video was shot March 29th in 2020, so the fact that there's not a lot of traffic is a little spooky. Portland International. For some reason in this area, I get some major drops in frames, major frame rate drops. Maybe I have the traffic up too high, maybe there's something in this scenery. This is the freeware Portland scenery. Maybe there's something in it that's wacky. Maybe the clouds are causing too much, I don't know. But if I fly, as has always been the case with since way back in FSX or even 2004, if I fly in a smaller area outside of major cities, everything works fairly well. Then I have good frame rates all the way around. I think I have some blacked out buildings here. Haven't quite built in yet, but the Portland downtown area of this scenery is really good. It's fairly accurate. Coming up on the first public helipad area, which I was shocked when I first flew here. It's been years now, but I first flew here a while ago and was shocked that they put this in. There's a public helipad on top of a parking garage where lots of helicopter pilots practice their confined area landings or land there for various other reasons. It's just over one of these bridges. There it is, I see it. I'll fly right over it. If you still like to fly helicopters in P3d, then right there below me there, look at that helipad. There's 501, there's landing, and then 1, 2, 3, there's four parking spaces and a landing spot. And the arrows there are approaches. The arrows are the directions you're supposed to approach from, depending on the wind. And now, there's a private rooftop helipad. This does exist. They didn't make it up. And that's where I'm going to set down. I have special permission because it's a flight simulator. Why wouldn't I have permission? Come on. These buildings are awesome, aren't they? I think this all looks really good. I don't know what that was. Approaching too fast. I'm too high, too fast. Little replay here. Of course, in the real world, you can see much better. If you're in VR, you can still probably see. You can also see much better. I'm using Track IR. I haven't mentioned that yet in this video. The other thing about flying 212 is that most of the time you're going to have a co-pilot. Not all the time, but most of the time, and that co-pilot can help quite a bit when you're trying to do this. But we made it. Didn't bend anything. So, thanks for watching. This has been another Flights with Joel. I hope you subscribe. I will have more. And stay healthy, stay well. Thanks for watching.